Mister.
Hey everyone, Mr. Say here. This is the lap guide for Circuit de la Sarthe with the Alpine Vision Gran Turismo. Let's get this started. You can take this first turn at full throttle, but once you complete the turn, you'll need to start braking. This is so you can have just enough space to get yourself through this first turn. So for these two turns, you can actually abuse the limit just a very tiny bit by going a little bit over the curb. Don't get too greedy, otherwise you'll get a penalty. Go out full throttle in between these first two turns, and once you are about to complete the second turn, you can start to go out full throttle. Start to brake just after you pass the end of this piece of track that is on your right. Try to hug this inside of the turn so that way you can start to fully accelerate once you hit the apex. The moment you start to turn, go at about 25% throttle and let the downforce guide you through this turn. Once you're about to complete the turn, you can start to fully accelerate. You can also go over the curbs, but once you're going on the outside curb, make sure you try to get yourself inside before the curb ends, because if you're still in the off-track area when the curb ends, you'll get a penalty. Just past the 100-meter mark, there will be a photographer that is on your left. This person will be your braking point. So brake as much as you can right here, and then you want to let go just a little to get yourself to turn, and then brake a little bit more right here. And for this turn, you can go on the inside of the curb just a little bit and then start to fully accelerate once you're nearly done with the turn. However, be careful not to go too much to the right of the curb that you see here, otherwise you'll get a penalty. Start to brake before you reach the 100-meter mark. This chicane is very similar to the one you just completed not long ago, except this one's a little sharper, so you want to slow down a little bit more before you start to turn right. And as you go through the turn, wait until you're lined up with the apex that's on the turn ahead before you can start to fully accelerate. Start to brake before you reach this curb that is on the right. So this is one of the only two turns in this track where you want to go onto first gear. So you'll start to brake right here, and you'll have a little more room for this turn, so you can ease off the brake a little bit. Then slowly start to accelerate once you're starting to point towards the next section of the track. Ease off the throttle as you go through this turn, and right after you hit the apex, start to brake. This should give you just enough space for you to do all the braking you need to make it through this turn. Don't cut into the curb too much, otherwise you'll get a penalty, and once you're about to complete the turn, you can start to fully accelerate. Start to brake before you reach the 50-meter mark. This is the second and last turn where you'll want to go onto first gear. So as you brake, you can then ease off the brake and slowly ease on the throttle, and you can start to fully accelerate once you're starting to point towards the next section of the track. When you approach the green area that is on your left, you'll do some quick but hard braking. Make sure you're off the brake once you start to turn, and just do some throttle control here, but then for this next turn, go out full throttle. And then for these next turns, go up between 25 and 50% throttle to try to hug the inside of the turn. And for this turn right here, once you hit the apex, you can start to fully accelerate. Start to brake when you're about 40% through the pit lane right here. And then you can go over the curves, but make sure you don't go over them too much, otherwise you'll get a penalty. And then you can accelerate for just a very brief moment before you need to start braking. Slow it down just enough so you can cruise through this first turn right here, go over the curb again, don't get too greedy, stabilize the car, and you are good to go.